My name is Danny Smollers. I'm the General Manager for SEV1 in Asia Pacific, and I look after all of our operations within this region. We've got offices in Australia, Hong Kong, India, and here headquarters in Singapore. So we've been in monitoring for over a decade, working mostly on large networks, large infrastructure, so it's only a logical step for us to look at this particular space. We've worked with a couple of our alliances, and we've come up with specific solutions around SDN and NFV. And what really makes our solution unique is we bring together the metrics from the underlying infrastructure together with the performance metrics of how services are running on top of that infrastructure. So it's really marrying the underlay with the overlay. It's an interesting step, and for us to understand what they can get out of it, you need to understand what NFV is. And NFV really is going from what I would say a static to a dynamic environment, or an environment that was purpose-built with one particular purpose in mind to something that can cover all of the needs. And with that, once you start building that, you can get economies of scale by only focusing on what I would call commodity hardware rather than proprietary hardware. The second thing is obviously when you have a unified environment, it's a lot easier to manage that, to operate it. And then thirdly is really what I would call agility. Agility in a sense that if you're faster to market with new services on top of this new infrastructure, you're going to capture market share that your competition won't. And that is generally the hard bit for most of the operators that we see in this part of the world. It's a little the fact that they're coming from a very siloed way of managing things, and so you've got specialists in all of these silos. That is now moving away. Even though it's gradually moving away, it's still moving away, and so skill sets and shifting of skill sets is the first challenge. The second challenge, especially in some of developing countries in Southeast Asia, is they still have very complex legacy systems that are not easy to untangle. And then lastly, it's really nobody wants to be the first guy to try the new iOS version. And the same applies to NFV. So they're all looking at each other, who's going to go first, who's going to make the first mistakes, how do we learn from those mistakes? And so it's a little bit of that laggard behavior that we're seeing, especially in Southeast Asia. Amazing location. We've had very good traffic, especially this morning. Good follow-ups, good meetings. Yeah, it's been a good event for us.